We're about to explore a world where being curious is a crime, and the people you'd call to put out a fire are the very ones who start them. This is the world Ray Bradbury built in his masterpiece, Fahrenheit 451. And what's so chilling is how, year after year, it feels less like a story and more like a warning.
The book picks off with what has to be one of the most famous opening lines ever written. Just let that sink in. It was a pleasure to burn. I mean, this isn't just a statement, right? It's a whole worldview. It's our first look into the mind of our main character, Guy Montag, a man who doesn't just do his job, he loves it. For him, fire isn't dangerous. It's clean. It's a satisfying solution. So in Montag's world, you have to understand the job of a fireman is totally inverted. His hose is described like a great python, and it doesn't spit water. It spits kerosene. He's not just a civil servant. He's more like a conductor, leading these incredible symphonies of destruction, turning homes full of books into charcoal. And for a long, long time, he genuinely loves it. I mean, why wouldn't he? It's the only life he's ever known.
But then, everything starts to shift. It all begins with a simple walk home from work one night, and an encounter that starts to pull at the threads of his reality. He meets this young girl, his neighbor, who just seems different. She's described as having a face bright as snow in the moonlight.
And what you see here is a total collision of two different ways of being. You've got Montag's world, right? It's all about speed and noise. Kerosene is what he smells like after work. Jet cars are screaming by. The parlor walls are basically giant TVs that are just yelling at you all day. But then you have Clarice. For her, the world is full of these small, quiet wonders. She actually tastes the rain, she notices the smell of leaves, and she comes from a family where they just sit around and talk to each other. It's so simple, but for Montag, it's completely alien. It's like she holds up a mirror to his entire existence, and he just can't look away.
And then she just asks him, plain and simple, "Are you happy?" I mean, think about that. Such a simple question, but it absolutely shatters him. His first reaction is just confusion. Am I what? But by the time he can even process it, she's gone. And he's left standing there alone with this question hanging in the air. Probably the most dangerous question anyone could have asked him, because it's the one he has spent his entire life avoiding.
So that question just rings in his ears all the way home, and when he walks through his front door for the very first time, he's not just entering his house, he's seeing the cold, empty truth of it. It feels less like a home and more like a tomb.
And inside, he finds his wife, Mildred. She's taken an entire bottle of sleeping pills. And the way Bradbury describes the scene is it's so haunting. She's just lying there, completely vacant, with these little seashell radios in her ears. Think of them like futuristic earbuds. They're just constantly pumping an ocean of electronic noise and chatter into her head. She's right there in the room, but she is completely 100% gone.
So a couple of technicians show up. And here's the crazy part. They're not doctors. They're basically just handymen with these machines that pump out her stomach and give her a blood transfusion. And as they're working, they casually tell Montag they get 9 or 10 of these calls every single night. And that's the moment it hits him. This isn't just about his wife Mildred. This is happening all over the city. It's an epidemic of quiet desperation. An entire society is so empty that people are just trying to check out. He's completely rattled by all this, but he still goes back to work. And that's when it happens. The one call, the one fire that changes everything. This is his point of no return.
The alarm goes off, and they're called to a house that is literally overflowing with books. But this time is different. The owner, an elderly woman, is home, and she absolutely refuses to leave. As Montag and the other firemen are soaking everything in kerosene, she says something strange. She quotes an old English martyr. And in all the confusion, Montag's hand just moves. He says it's like it has a mind of its own. It snatches a book, and he shoves it under his coat. But then comes the real shock. The woman, standing in the middle of her library, opens her hand. She's holding a simple kitchen match, and before they can stop her, she strikes it, choosing to burn alive with her books.
And watching this, something inside Montag just snaps. You have to understand, up until this point, he's just been burning things, paper and ink, objects. But now, he's seen with his own eyes that whatever is in those books, it's something so powerful, so important, that a person would rather die than give it up. He says it himself, there must be something in books, things we can't imagine. And now, more than anything, he has to find out what that is.
So the next day, Montag calls in sick. He's completely undone by what he saw. But his boss, the fire captain Beatty, he's sharp. He senses that Montag is having a crisis of faith, so he shows up at his house. And what follows is this incredible, chilling speech where Beatty lays out exactly how their society got to be the way it is.
And this quote, this is Beatty's whole argument in a nutshell. A book is a loaded gun in the house next door. For him, books aren't knowledge, they're weapons. Why? Because they make people think. They create different opinions, they make one person feel smarter than another, and that creates conflict. It makes people unhappy. So to keep the peace, you have to disarm the mind. You have to burn the books.
And here's the truly chilling part of Beatty's speech. He explains that this whole system, it wasn't some evil government plot. The people chose it. It happened gradually. First, you condense books down to a summary, then a headline, then nothing. You replace real knowledge with tons of useless facts, so people feel like they're smart, but they're not actually thinking. You get rid of anything controversial, anything that might offend anyone, anywhere. You keep everyone constantly moving, constantly entertained. And eventually, intellectual becomes a dirty word. The goal? To make everyone exactly the same. Because if everyone's the same, Beatty argues, then everyone can finally be happy.
And this whole struggle is captured in the book's central metaphor, the sieve and the sand. Montag has this vivid memory of being a little kid on a beach, and an older cousin bet him he couldn't fill a sieve with sand. And of course, the faster he poured, the faster it all fell through. That's exactly how he feels now. He's trying to cram all this knowledge from these stolen books into his brain, but his mind has been so conditioned by distraction and noise that the words just fall right through.
So, once Beatty is gone, Montag knows there's no turning back. He can't unsee what he's seen, he can't unknow what he's starting to understand, and in this incredible act of rebellion, he walks over to the ventilator grill in his own hallway, pulls it back, and reveals a secret stash of about 20 books he's stolen over the years. His wife is horrified, of course, but for Montag, it doesn't matter. His old life is officially over, and the search for real meaning has just begun.
And this really brings us to the terrifyingly relevant heart of Fahrenheit 451. The book's ultimate warning is right here. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. It's not about the flames, not really. It's about what happens when we voluntarily trade depth for distraction and thought for entertainment. A fire can turn a book to ash, sure, but only we, through our own apathy, can let the ideas inside them fade away. So the real fire, the one that truly matters, isn't the one that burns at 451 degrees. It's the one we have to fight to keep burning inside our own minds.